One thing I wish more people knew about trauma therapy and about EMDR is that it's not just about the past. In fact, a good amount of trauma therapy can be about the present. And when I start working with someone, I really want to know what is bringing them to therapy right now. What is it in their present life that is a trigger or a stuck point or something that just really needs to change? And together we establish these goals that will help us figure out, okay, what is the priority and where do we want to go from here? And then based off of that, we can then do the work of like safety and stabilization, which is where we kind of find new ways to cope with triggers and to navigate them safely. We can learn new coping skills, new communication skills. It's just really individualized, honestly. And then we can do that work of, in EMDR, it's phase one, but we don't always do it first. It's treatment planning. And we take the present situation, the present triggers, and we trace it back in time. That's how we identify the past that's worth kind of revisiting and worth working through, is it's all connected to that present issue that's really important. And so together we kind of go down this memory network and we say, okay, there's a memory, at age 20 or a memory at age 15 or a memory at age 10 that are all connected to this presenting issue, this thing that's really important to you that you want to resolve. Usually a negative belief like I am not good enough, I am unlovable, I am not deserving of respect, those kinds of things. Typically those negative beliefs are organized in terms of like past memories. And so once we have this presenting issue, we're able to then identify, okay, what do we want to revisit from the past? What do we want to target in therapy together? And where do we want to go from here? So what is the future desired response that we're looking for? What kind of healing do we want to achieve? And then we use this to guide the work. So it's not just about digging through the past to dig through the past. It's really about what's in best service to your present. And then it's very collaborative. I also want people to know that trauma therapy, in my opinion, and from like how I approach it, it's relational. EMDR doesn't have to be like just a very sterile protocol that someone does, although different people work in different ways. I actually think that EMDR works well when we've invested time in our therapeutic relationship and our alliance, when we've spent time on like resourcing and helping you find ways to regulate your nervous system. And when we've really gotten a good understanding of your inner world. I like to integrate depth psychotherapy, which is like psychodynamic work, and ego state or parts interventions into EMDR. So that can look like us taking time to, understand your inner world, really invite all the different parts of you to participate in the process. And I don't mean parts like more like fragmented pieces of the personality, although sometimes that is how someone's personality is organized. I just mean like if you take a deep breath and you look inside of yourself and you ask yourself, how do I feel about doing this work? What different thoughts, what different emotions, what different perspectives do I have about it? And just really like inviting all, like the full picture of yourself to just participate. And what's amazing is when we're able to work with the inner world in this way, like really engaging with a lot of curiosity and self-compassion, often we don't have the same types of like bumps in the road that we get when we bypass this. So for example, a lot of the times what we're doing comes from, a learned response, like a protective response. And so when we're trying to change, we might have a little bit of like internal pushback or internal whiplash. And so if we're able to actually have curiosity with like ourselves and kind of have some self-compassion, we can engage those parts of us that are like pushing back against the change we want to make and see, okay, how does this part actually serve me? What does it do for me? How can I address the concerns of this part? So a very common thing, right, is in trauma therapy, we want to work on finding healthy ways to relax, okay? And a lot of people, you say, okay, let's work on relaxation. And internally it's like, nope, absolutely not. I'm not going to relax. It's not safe to relax. Forget it, right? But if we don't actually invite that to be present in the session and talk through it and work with why it's hard to relax, then we just get stuck there, right? And it can feel very frustrating. Like, okay, well, my therapist gave me this exercise to relax and I'm not relaxed. In fact, now I feel angry or I feel disconnected or whatever the case may be. So basically the takeaway here is we just it can be really helpful to approach trauma therapy with like a curiosity and to just take it slow, to take it steady. Sometimes they say, like, there's this saying that it's like slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And I think that can really apply to this work, because if we are intentional about what we're doing and we just kind of really communicate through it, we practice those like secure attachment behaviors of like giving open and direct feedback and just kind of taking it step by step, we can actually see, progress. And of course, everyone varies. But if you'd like to learn more about trauma therapy and how it might be helpful to you, please feel free to reach out to me today. Thank you.